Okay, so you can play this game either with Cuisinart rods on your table and have your activity sheet, or you can play it on these Google Slides. So if you have the materials in front of you, this is what you would do. You'd have your activity sheet, and then you would have questions. Like, for instance, it says, if the orange rod is your one hole, what is the fraction name of the yellow rod? How do you know? And does your answer agree with the example answer given on the activity sheet? And then you would repeat this as you go through each question. So again, we're going to be using the Cuisinart rods, comparing to figure out the fractional piece. This is an example of what the activity sheet looks like. Okay, so if you're playing with the pieces, you can kind of see where this says the size of the part, that's the pieces. One purple rod is the piece, and you're comparing it to the size of the hole. In this case, the hole is one brown. So you would see how many purples equals one brown. And so here in this box, the fraction name of the part. So depending on how many purples it took, that would help you determine what you would put there. So if it took 2 purples, then you would say 1/2 for each of your pieces. Over here in words, you would say because it was 2 that made the whole, which means 1/2 and 1/2 equals 1 whole. So that's what you would justify your answer here. There's an example up here where there's 1 yellow and you're comparing it to 1 orange. And so they said they either wrote it in words 1/2 or they wrote it with the numeral 1/2. And then over here is their example saying 2 yellow rods are the same length as 1 orange. So that is how you're going to do the activity if you had the materials in front of you. Very similar to what we're going to do on the slides, but instead of having pencil and paper, you're going to be typing. Now, in order to make the slides work, you're going to go up here to where it says View. You're going to go down where it says Snap To, and you're going to uncheck. Now you're ready to go with the slides to do the exact same thing. Slide 5, play with these pieces a little bit. So if you remember, they had comparing like the orange to the brown or the yellow to the brown. And these pieces move just like this. So here's a yellow, here's a brown. How much would it be? Those kinds of things. And so you can just play around with it. If you make a mistake and you change the size, this little arrow that points backwards will undo and you can just start again. So this is where you play. Move them, stack them. You can make an image with them. And just what do you notice? Like how many whites make a red or how many reds make a brown? And help see if you can figure out some fractional pieces. Slide 6 gives you the names because you're going to have to refer back to those names because that's what you're going to be using in the questions. So here is where you would record your work. Okay, so the first one was done for us. 1 yellow rod, see the yellow? And you're going to compare it to the 1 orange because that's your hole. So here's my hole, here's my yellow. So how many yellow did it take? Here's 1, here's 1, 1, 2. So if there's 2 pieces, my mind is thinking of my vocabulary. This is 1/2 and this is 1/2. So here we wrote in words 1/2. Over here we wrote it with our symbols 1/2. 1 part out of 2, 1/2. And then justify. 2 yellow rods are the same length as 1 orange. And so now you're going to compare 1 red to 1 purple. So here's the purple. You would drag your purple up. You would drag some reds over here. So you will show your work. You will need to like put your pieces over here and then figure out your answers. And you just click on the box and then you are able to type. And that is what you'll do. If you make a mistake, just hit the back button and it will clean everything up for you. So there's 2 questions here for you to fill in. Then you have slide 8 with 2 more. you have slide 9, and you have slide 10. So that is how you do it. And again, this tells you the parts, and this tells you the one whole. Now, if you look, as you go down, they get a little bit harder. This time they want to know 3 red compared to 1 brown. Not just 1 red, 3 red. So you have to figure out what is 1 red, and then now you have 3 of those. How would you write that and justify that? So this is what you're doing on this. We're now naming our fractional parts.